Starting the live stream a little early. Be patient. People will come. Oh, Kai, you're in a new room.
What?
You're in a new room.
New room? Oh, that's my parents' house again. That's children's bed, baby bed.
Oh, a little princess bed.
Yeah.
See, so I'm surprised there were just 2 Lumios. I thought there'd be more.
And one of them is just a...
Well, I don't know about. I'm not so sure about last week's meeting. Griff quickly gave me a recap, but I don't remember if there was anything.
Yeah, the recap was
actually discussed.
The recap was, hey, does anyone need to have this meeting? Is there anything anyone wants to talk about? Everyone said no, and then we all went away. That was it.
All right. So because this is technically 69, which should be the meeting after 2 weeks ago meeting. So we keep up with the numbering. But he did not live stream last week or have notes, so I think that's okay.
Yep. Cool. Thanks for being the governance cat herder.
Well, yeah, almost forgot. But I can't escape it now.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about rules, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I still think it's a scary. The governance trifecta is like waiting to fail.
Defecting.
Yeah. Oh wait, there was this other one. There was decrease the withdrawal delay to 24 hours.
Nah, that's old, no?
That's old? Okay. Well, I wonder
Did we
how.
never talk about this?
I'm surprised there hasn't been an action on it. I guess it's one of those things where once we get I guess we need to get the thing fixed first.
Interesting.
I heard you say, Griff, the governance trifecta is dangerous, but yeah, it actually did fail last week, right? Because we didn't have a meeting.
Yeah. But it worked this week. Thank God.
But I think the real mistake is just to still hold it when we know we should actually not hold it.
But then
But it
still,
is just
someone
a
needs to
thing.
announce
Sometimes
that.
it's. Sorry.
Then someone needs to. The person who holds the accountability should announce that we're not holding it. Then.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Sometimes you realize, oh, it's a Thursday again, 5 o'clock, 1 hour to the governance meeting.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get this party started. Let's talk about what we did last week. Does anyone want to start? Oh, and intentions and distractions. I forgot. Intentions, distractions. What did you do last week?
Last week was all Odyssey. Going to Odyssey, organizing Odyssey, herding cats, herding projects, herding codes, coding, shaking hands, establishing narratives, pushing them away again, getting them renewing them, pushing them over again, getting a new one. And then it was over, and it was good. It was over, and now we're back. And my intention here is to just speak about this Lumios and get some updates from you guys. And I'm not very distracted. And I give it to Guillerme or Guillerme. I don't know how I should pronounce it. Sorry, man.
Hey, Guillerme is fine. So I'm new to the whole Giveth community, so I just wanted to stop by and just say hello. So I'm interested in becoming part of the Giveth community. Started contributing a little bit for the DAP recently. So hello everyone.
Hey, Guillermo. Nice. Thanks for coming to the community meeting. We also have, if you like working on the DAP, we have DAP meetings every Monday at 7 p.m. Barcelona time. So if that works for you, man, you should definitely come to that meeting too, because that's where we dish out work and we can even basically give you a job, like making bounties happen.
Cool. That's nice. I'll definitely keep track of that, and hopefully I'll see you guys too on Monday.
Nice. Yeah, and I'll warn you. So during this meeting, we're gonna have we kick it off with kind of a warm up round, and then I'll tell you more about the logistics of the meeting in a little bit.
Okay. Just carry on as you normally do.
Yeah. Let's pass it to Chris.
Yeah, so what I worked on this week was mostly like half of the team on the Odyssey hackathon. I supported the team with actually mostly. I think I spent quite some time in Team 3, working on the narrative with Griff. I was a Jedi at the hackathon, so I was walking around a lot, listening to the teams, working a bit on some of the things with Jeff. I still feel that I could have done a whole lot more, but that maybe I think it would be good maybe at some point to do an evaluation of how we could have won the tracks, because I really think we could have won them, at least some of them. Yeah, so now I'm catching up on a whole lot of messages. There's quite some people who contacted me afterwards, so I will be responding to all of these messages. And my head is still a little bit blurry from this, so this is my worst check-in of what I did ever. I still need to catch up on my notes. One of the things I'm going to do is also make milestones this week because I'm a bit behind. Yeah, my intention for the meeting is just like catching up, listening in, and I give it to Jeff.
Hey everybody. So last week has been majority Odyssey stuff. Yes, what else do I have on my plate? I can just read my open tabs. Lots of narrative type stuff, trying to solidify. Oh, this is last week, not next week. Yeah, so Odyssey, shaking hands, kissing babies, meeting lots of stakeholders, lots of conversations with Zargam, Vinay, the other big stakeholders there. Sean Conway from ICSO is really interested in further collaborations with Giveth and with the Common Stack, which would be very interesting and intriguing. Intentions. I would like to get caught up with the team, extremely distracted and overwhelmed with a million things to do. So I apologize if I'm not totally with it. And I pass it to Danny.
All right. Well, let's see. I created my first regular reward milestone, which has a lot of what I did up through Sunday. Kind of felt like I was holding down home fires while you all were out there hacking, building, and creating the future at Odyssey. And then Riot went down. I was like, the fire went out. But it prompted a lot of really awesome things, which I'm excited about. My brain for the last couple of days has actually been thinking about this Lumio for the team visioning retreat, doing some research around what that retreat could look like, how to structure something really, really useful for our time together based on some other things I participated in and led. So crafting a little bit of that. I also got to get on the phone with Wojtek, and pardon me, I'm a little slow and fuzzy. I'm still in recovery mode right now. I do feel like I took in so much information and processing it wore out my kidney. But I'm doing pretty good, and I learned how to restart Feathers and edit the milestone reviewers and add new campaign and DAC owners. Waiting to get to that. I also spent a little bit of time looking at the issues that are on the DAP, and I'm really happy to see Guilherme on this call, having a couple of pull requests completed and approved and put through. Was really awesome. See some new support coming in on the DAP development side. Yeah, what else can I say? I built a new campaign for Burning Man 2019 and start gathering all the documents and looking at how to use all of our information in a really good and useful way. Learning that organization of files and folders is something I'm really good at. So leveraging that for the team a little bit. And then we got some new automated messaging. So Reward DAO. So that was the other thing, is last week was the first week after our calculations So contacting everybody to get their milestones, everybody who I didn't even have to contact, they just made their milestones and they were good. We got some new messaging, automating parts of that, so it takes a lot less of my time. And that's where I'm at. I'm going to pass it over. I'm just going to guess because Bowen, have you gone yet?
No, I haven't.
Yay.
Is the mic working? Good. Okay. So hey, it's been an extra week since we had one of these, I think, because I came to the community meeting last week and no one was there, and I'm like, oh yeah, everybody is probably in the middle of the hackathon. So it was really exciting to see the stuff that you guys came home with for that. That was pretty awesome. The last couple of weeks has been a little bit difficult because the bridge monitor service is showing 2-week-old data still for 2 weeks now. So I'm in order to do the security guard job, I'm interacting directly with the contracts through Etherscan instead of using the tools because they aren't functioning at the moment. George started to take a look at it and he got it to actually at least serve data again. It's just not getting new data. So there is a bigger issue, and I'm hoping that we can get that solved here pretty soon. At least now it's being looked at. So I'm kind of excited about putting that problem to bed. As soon as that's done, I have like a ton of new improvements to the monitor dashboard service thing that I can actually push now. But I didn't want to do it until it was able to be tested with actually working server. So I guess it's both what I have been doing and what is distracting me at the moment is that it's a little tedious because I'm writing everything down to make sure that I don't miss everything or don't miss anything, and like it's a little bit more nerve-wracking when I have to trust my own self to do this instead of trusting the tool that was designed to do it. But other than that, I'm looking forward to what we're covering in the Lumios today. And I guess I pass it to Griff. You're muted.
Boom. Okay. Thanks, Mom. So yeah, lots of stuff. Been running around with Odyssey and coordinating most of that, making sure everyone had a fun time, boat ride, and trying to chase down a few people that were not part of the original group so that we can get some funds coming in. Honestly, I need to make an Odyssey like a common stack thing, campaign or something, and just start putting Odyssey stuff in there. Also, we worked on all the Odyssey stuff. It was a hackathon. Didn't sleep much. Had a lot of fun in the Netherlands. There was a lot of stuff with that. We ended up with a great prototype or something that we can turn into a prototype, and a lot of people that are excited about continuing this project. So that's really cool. But in other news, I was working relatively stealthily on like bringing trust lines to Venezuela, and ended up passing that off to Alexa from Oregon. So I found a project manager. Her husband is Venezuelan, and she is very sympathetic to the cause. Is not working at Oregon anymore, so has more free time. So I'm hoping she can take it over. Still probably need to continue pushing her on that though. I interviewed a dev a little bit ago for the DApp, but he's probably not going to work out. Also, but I did end up making a deal with Rafa so we can get more devs from Alibre, which is really cool. So George is going to probably move down to like quarter of his time on Giveth, and then we'll have a full-time dev. All he does is Giveth. So that'll be good, and they'll be working in the same office. And then also getting Michael back into the swing of things a little bit. And yeah, and there was a bunch of Burning Man stuff. We are going to end up with an art car, it looks like. We had all the ticket sales go through, so we had a big meeting about tickets, and it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of tickets. We ended up getting a decent amount of tickets, so that was great. And there's some Mulek stuff. I'm relatively active in the Mulek scene. There's a lot of like DAO things coming up. There's a group that's practicing called Play DAO that I'm participating with. There's another group called DAO Incubators that I need to tell Lorelai to actually like check in with, because I bet they would like to help incubate the Unicorn DAC. And yeah, and now we're here in South Africa. So we flew to South Africa, and there's going to be a bunch of action this week here. I think I'm judging with Vitalik and Simon. I'm not sure. It says speakers and judges, and I don't think I'm speaking, but Vitalik is speaking, so he might not be judging, but we'll see. And I'm sure there's lots of other stuff, but most of this week was dominated by Odyssey. I'll pass it to Lorelai.
Yay. Okay, so did anybody talk about their intentions and distractions?
Oops. No intentions, no distractions.
Great. So this week, okay, well, we didn't really have a meeting last week, so I'm gonna extend this a little bit, but yeah, I judged my first hackathon officially, and that was the EdCon hackathon last week. That was fun, and I stuck around at the hack group had in Barcelona while people were starting the Odyssey hack. I got the house ready to host about 15 people, and I hosted some of our first guests while I was there. My friend Annie helped out a lot, and so I looped her into our Riot community, dished her some points. She's getting excited about blockchain stuff. Then I traveled to Groningen and jumped right into like meetings and community building with Odyssey folks. And I took care of a lot of logistical travel stuff this week. I did. I worked on like Common Stack stuff and hosted a call. I dealt with being kicked off of Riot, and it made me think a lot about like that vulnerability of the alliance there. So Lumio, yeah, I helped Griff interview that dev for the job. Worked on some Giveth roles process stuff, and my intentions for this meeting, I guess maybe get a little more details about what we're planning for in late May, early June. And yeah, the Lumia that I put up was only a thread. There wasn't a decision, so I don't think it doesn't need to be discussed as our structure dictates. But if there's time to talk about that, I don't know. I want to move forward this project of having our own server for various things in Barcelona. That's all. Am I the last person to check in?
I don't think so. Who else needs to go?
No, I don't see anybody. Chris, can you pronounce Groningen for us?
Actually, it was a really good pronunciation. It's Groningen. So I think Lorelai was pretty close.
Groningen.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Well, so logistics. So thank you for coming, Guilherme. I have to say, though, that for the formal part of this meeting, you're kind of left out. The structure is that new people, the first time they come, they just get to be passive listeners, and then they'll understand the flow for the next time that they come in. But then we have a fireside chat, which I think because we only have one proposal to go through. So after that, feel free to jump in and say what you need to say, or say anything. Feel open to do that. Let's see. Anything else? No, I don't think so. So let's just start the show. There's only one official proposal to talk about, which is Danny's proposal about a meeting in early June. Do you want to take her away, Danny?
Yeah. So what I've heard is last week of May and also first week of June. So there's quite a few people who are interested in coming. I think in my ideal vision, this would be where we have at least 4 up to 7 days of the unicorn DAC in particular, people who are carrying roles to actually go through a multi-day process together, and then to open it up to more people to come in after that and kind of expand it into more of a community development and fun time. So it sounds like we have enough people who want to come, create a campaign. There are some people who need support getting their travel costs covered. So I think creating a few milestones in there for folks and being creative and ingenious around who needs to come and what activities are out there that they can pick up in order to get those milestones funded, perhaps. Those are just the things that are on my mind as I think about it. I would love to be able to support facilitating and also collaborate with Lorelei if she's interested in it. Putting together a workshop flow, I guess is what I would call it, a facilitated multi-day experience that guides us all through team building and reflections on operations and development so far, and then once we're in a steady state together, visioning what that looks like going forward and making some changes that we can communicate out of that. So that's what I'm thinking is what we'd like to do. I'd just like to hear what people's reactions and responses are to that. Or any clarifying questions first?
Yeah, clarifying question. So how do you want to set the dates?
Well, I think now that we have a group of people who have said they want to go, let's do a doodle poll and find out what is the earliest and latest that people can come in. I really want to make sure we have people there, ideally for a minimum of 7 days, but the ideal would be 10 to 14.
Cool. Any other clarifying questions?
I'm wondering if in your proposal is the like we're going to give scholarships for some people, or is that not part of the current proposal?
I would love to be able to create a milestone that is for scholarships for people and get that funded. I don't know, and I'd be willing to pitch in a little bit into that out of my regular awards. So I'd love to see a scholarship fund, but we need to get it funded. So to me, the first step for that is to get the campaign and the milestone up for it.
Cool. If there's no other clarifying questions, who wants to react? I guess one more question. Can you say in a sentence what the proposal is?
Was also my question.
The proposal is to bring together our Giveth team for a visioning retreat to reflect on our work so far, build team coherence, and from that place, vision our work for the next year with some adjustments to our goals and objectives.
Okay.
And have a really good time together. And a housewarming party. And
I can start. Yeah, so for me, a big time yes on this one. If there are no funds to support like flights and so on right now, I'm fine with this because I think if I know it a little bit in advance, I can get a pretty cheap flight with Ryanair to Barcelona, and if it's too expensive, I'm probably even just gonna take the bus and like see some of the countryside because it's better for our ecosystem. Anyways, so yes, big time yes for me. I think it would be a good thing. I do believe it would also be good to set a little bit of an agenda so that we actually also get some work done and that it's worth travel and the effort and the logistics and all these things. And I give it to Kai.
I'm sorry, I left my mic open and I'm kind of getting chased around the house to find a place to. Yeah, I'm all for this thing. Convenient whole time that the different is really good. I don't know.
Okay, I think your connection is bad. You might need to turn off
balance
the
of forces.
video.
Bad connection, Kai. Bad connection.
Go with whatever. No.
Can you turn off your video?
Maybe I probably went too far from the router. So yeah, I was just saying that the time is very good for me. I can do it in the whole time. That's I'm tentative. I'm just wondering how family-wise with my baby and my partner if they can come, but we can talk about that kind of stuff when it's on. So full support from me, and I give it to Griff.
Yeah, full support for me. I hope to stay in South Africa at least until the 25th-ish. And then after May 25th, it's all holds barred. I think we'll need to go to the States by the 14th minimum. We were planning on going to Atlanta, but if we're spending a week or two with Danny already, maybe we'll make Atlanta happen on the way back or something. So yeah, let's see. So that puts me at least 3 weeks in Barcelona that are open or about. And I would say that there is definitely space for people to bring their family and stuff like that, at least for part of it. Maybe there's, some like overlap or something. We have lots of rooms we have lots of beds, but not lots of rooms. So we'll have to figure that out. We might even make some friends in the neighborhood and see if we can either find some hotel rooms or something like that makes sense. Other big pieces, that house still needs some renovation and some work to make it ready for this meeting, and so probably want to give us some time to get it finished. And if people want to help finishing, there's like lots of just like things to put up and stuff at IKEA to buy to make sure that we can actually handle everybody well. But is there anything else? Oh, and then the big question is the common stack will be ramping up pretty heavily around then. And so I wonder if common stack people will be part of it or might even co-opt it. I worry a little bit. So we just need to be clear on that, whether or not it's open for common stack. If the common stack is still going strong, then I will pass it to Lorelai.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm super excited about this idea. I've been putting a lot of energy into making this house, this home, this office a great space to like host all of you. So that's just my dream come true to get to use it for that. And there's not that much to do. I think Griff made it sound a little bigger than it is. Basically, there's like a couple random IKEA furnitures to build, but not beds, like like a shoe rack and a shelf, and there's blinds to put up and big curtains to put up. So I would say like 3 days of like time where a lot of house prep is going on, but that can be part of the like community building. I mean, I think we've all had an experience where like building IKEA furniture with somebody really, it either makes or breaks a relationship. And Josh brought up the awesome point about getting some outside time. Maybe Danny also suggested this. And I've been talking with Ome and with Danny Shavit, who are some awesome crypto anarchist friends of ours, about the squat communities that are in and outside of Barcelona And there's a couple of different like radical okupas squats and even whole villages of squats that are within a couple hours of Barcelona. And Ome and I were talking about maybe planning a little road trip in the end of May, early June to visit some of these, maybe volunteer a little bit of our time for a work day on the land, understand how their radical communities exist. And that would be cool to tack that on to either the beginning or end of this for whoever's available to have that sort of like field trip time. And yeah, I'm excited about scholarships. I would definitely like also contribute to that out of my own stuff. And yeah, that's a kind of long reaction, so I can be done. And I'm sharing a screen and hoping I can pass it to Bowen.
I think it's an awesome idea. I think I'm the only person that said no, I won't be able to make it in the Lumio. But this is just I have to. There's a whole lot of logistics involved that will need to be addressed that I'm in the process of attempting to do, like getting the passport situation straight and hoping that like a ton of back taxes doesn't prevent them from giving me my passport. Other than that, I think it's a great idea. I would love to come over. I haven't gotten the chance to hang out with everybody in person yet, so that would be really, really spectacular. And let's see, I will pass it on. Have you already reacted, Chris? Yes. I think that was I the last person then.
Jeff,
I haven't, but I am totally all good.
Okay.
I guess that's everybody.
Yeah, that's
Great. Is this so the other part of this, now that it's coming back to me, I feel like this is the kind of proposal it would be useful to hear from someone like Guilherme, if he'd be interested in coming for a part of that towards the end of it to integrate with the community.
Yes, I would definitely be interested. I'll be in Portugal during July, so I guess being there is kind of close to Barcelona. Be a good opportunity to get to know all of you a little better, interact with the Giveth community. Definitely really interested in becoming a part of it. So I guess it's a cool proposal there.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. I heard a couple of things that I may want to write some further proposals around for this. One of them is that I do think being an open and inclusive community, we don't want to limit who can be there when. Whoever can show up probably has something really important to contribute. So that's just my feeling on something like this. What I do feel like is for a portion of that work, it would be very important for whoever's participating in it to be there from beginning to end. So I would like to be able to set a few days where everyone's fully participatory and has arrived. It's really difficult when people come in the middle of knowing sometimes things happen. I definitely think getting off-site is really important. I'm so happy you're already talking to people about that, Lorelei, because doing something to engage with the place where we're gathering, as you know, is really important to me, and giving back to the people of that place. And then the third point that I wanted to touch back on. Oh yeah, and doing something for our space is the other part. Like, yes, getting there and everybody having a contribution to preparing the space. Maybe I'll do a sign up for meals so we can take turns preparing food for one another in teams, things like that. I think the only other thing I want to conclude with is that leading up to this time together, it would be really useful to gather a list of cleanup activities that we would want to do as a team while we're together for Giveth too. So doing something good for the local community, but also for our own community. What are some outstanding tasks that if we all got together and just banged it out for an hour or a couple hours, we would feel really accomplished in getting some things cleaned up. So what's the next step here? I guess the next thing that I'll do, it sounds like, yes, we are on for the visioning retreat. And the next thing to do is send out a doodle, finalize those dates, create the campaign and milestones. It would be super, super awesome if maybe we could get outside sponsorship for this event. And the best thing is when this doesn't have to come out of anybody's pocket to come together like this. And ideally, we would want the organization to cover all of the costs to do this. So that's just a seed to carry in our hearts and see if somebody wants to support us coming together to craft our next iteration together.
Cool.
Did I miss anything?
No, I mean, I guess we state the proposal in one sentence and then we wait for objections to not say anything.
Okay, so the proposal is for the Giveth community to gather in Barcelona beginning at the very end of May for at least 7 days, dates to be determined, open and all-inclusive for anyone in our community to participate and contribute.
Sweet. Any objections?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that open and all-inclusive, like staying at the house, there's just a limit. Like after a certain number of core people are taken care of in the house, anyone else who wants to come and stay pays for their own accommodation in the neighborhood.
Amendment. Yeah, I like that amendment.
Okay, so you want to integrate it?
So team visioning retreat for Giveth community, late May through the beginning of April, at least 7 days, inclusive up to a maximum number of participants.
Cool. Any objections? Proposal passed. Okay, that was a long one. Fireside chat. I want to take some topics, if that's okay. Does anyone have any things they want to chat about? There's a Lumio thread that could have a little discussion. I want to just continue talking about the event in late May.
I had one thing I wanted to bring up just because we didn't have a meeting last week and it never got covered, which was the Lumio about reducing the amount of wait time on payouts. Everybody remembers that?
Oh.
Yeah, we sure have to go
Snaps
through
to
that one.
that.
Then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did that not happen in the week before that?
No, it happened like it ended on Wednesday before the Odyssey Hack. So it just got swept under the meeting that didn't happen. But that's okay. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, and we can't do anything about it until they fix the problem that's going on right now, because I need that extra time right now because of that. But that being said, the Lumio proposal, and I'll be super quick about it, is that right now, if you go to disperse a milestone, it takes about 48 hours plus however much lag time there is on time zones and when I hit the disperse to pay them out. And my proposal was that because everything was working so well, we could reduce the amount of time, the delay down to 24 hours, because that still gives me plenty of time to make sure that nothing bizarre is going on. And we had a Lumio and pretty much everybody was cool with it. I think except Josh, who said that that he didn't understand why it was necessary to reduce the time. But my argument was, well, we have had zero problems in over a year of me doing this. So I thought that it would be cool to at least explore the possibility of everybody being able to get paid faster. So that was, that was the proposal. And I didn't know if anybody had any like quick reaction to it or anything that they wanted to add.
Clarifying question
Sure.
for your proposal, because I think we should just do this as a round. I think it can be a quick round,
Okay.
a formal round. So for your proposal, I take it that you're going to wait until the bridge monitor is fixed, and maybe even some time after that. Do you want to just be specific?
Yeah. So once the bridge monitor service is fixed and isn't crashing all the time, there seems to be a theory as to why it's happening. Then I think that it would be safe enough to try reducing after a period that it isn't broken. So like we'll say like a couple of weeks or something after the monitor service doesn't crash, then it might be worth it to give it a shot, because we can always switch it back to 48 hours if necessary. But seeing as how we're the only people that are using it like 95% of the time, and it's for dog fooding purposes, I think that imposing an extra weight on ourselves is unnecessary. So that's. Are there any more clarifying questions or?
I guess my one question is, how is the 48 hours that initially, and have other conditions changed? Like, was there not somebody in your role checking this every single day when the 48 hours was determined?
I think that the simple answer to that is probably, but it wasn't. I think that there was PTS DAO involved with the 48-hour decision. I think that there wasn't somebody dedicated to the purpose of making sure that like everything was constantly working okay, checking in on it many times a day. And so it wasn't apparent that perhaps a 48-hour delay might be a little much. But given that we've had all of this time passing and have had success, and I figured it might be time to bring up reducing the delay.
Yeah, 48 hours was originally chosen for weekends. Sometimes people take a weekend. Yeah. And that was the original thought. And honestly, with the 48 hours, I think you could still take a weekend. And with the dead man switch, it just would be like, sometimes it would still be 72 hours, but when things are running smoothly, 24 hours is fine.
Any other clarifying questions? And what comes after that?
Reaction round.
Reaction round. Here we go.
I can react. First, I want to say that this Lumio proposal is mostly signaling, because it will require a vote from the multi-sig to change this. So that's the real vote, which is fun. And then the other thing is that it might be conflict. It shouldn't take too long to actually figure out what functions to call and all that. But I hope Bowen can pull that off and figure out. I think I know how to do it. Yeah, it's fun to do multi-sig, to have a contract call a contract that's calling a contract. I mean, that's like always fun. So, and then, but other than that, this sounds great. I do hope that the DAP, we don't change the stuff on the DAP, and we can just, what do we say, under promise, overachieve, so that we still keep people expectations at 48 hours. And the other thing is that I know RJ is looking at the DAP monitor, I think today even. So.
Oh, awesome. That's spectacular. Yeah, it's I'm excited for it to work again, because I started working with Frederick on lots of improvements. So, okay.
I gotta pass it. I will pass it to Lorelai.
Okay, cool. I totally support this. I think that it's also just like a UX thing, and it's amazing to me that Bowen, you're thinking about this, and I think a lot of like rules like this end up getting stuck and left on the books, and that's like the failure of all of our super bureaucratic law institutions, is that rules that don't make sense anymore get left on the books. And I'm just really, I think it makes sense if we're safe to do this. Why don't we make the experience better? So thank you for championing that, Phone. And I'll pass it to Chris.
I say yes, let's change this, and I give it to Jeff.
Also, definitely on board. Anything to improve the throughput of the payment process is good in my books. And
Danny.
I will pass it to Danny.
Yeah, I have to say I was pretty settled in my reaction, and then when I heard Griff say contracts calling contracts is really fun, I thought, what does Griff actually mean by really fun there? That makes me a little nervous. That said, I love challenges too, and I'm sure we'll all have our eyes on it, and we all know that if there is something that comes up, it'll affect us right away, and we'll know and get it fixed.
True story.
So yeah, I'm definitely down. I'm in support of it. I just think about when a rule's been in place for a while like that, what other decisions have been made with that assumption already in place? So from a risk management perspective, that's where my brain starts going, is what else might be happening elsewhere that has that assumption underlying it. So we can think about those things too.
Okay, so I guess my quick one-sentence amended proposal is that I propose that we reduce the dispersal delay to 24 hours from 48 hours once the bridge monitor service is up and running for a couple of weeks without crashing. And I guess if are there any objections?
No objections. Proposal passed.
Yeah, so we'll bring it up for a vote as soon as the monitor service is working for a couple of weeks.
Perfect.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. Thanks for letting me cover that. I appreciate it.
of course, I actually
great.
was wondering if that was supposed to be part of this meeting, but I thought I thought we covered it 2 weeks ago. But, okay, so yeah, fireside chat. Talk more about the deep dive. Is there any other topics people want to cover? Okay, well, we'll see where it goes. I just wanted to say that one of the features of this house that's really cool is that we have this garage door that opens into the street. That's like still a room. Like we have a garage, but it's basically a regular room. So we could set people up with burner wallets who are walking down the street, and we could like do some kind of like interactive thing, and we could actually advertise it in advance and say, hey, we're gonna have like blockchain day or something like that. We'd have to get approval with Arno and the crew, because there is this little like, I don't want to say tension, but there's like this dichotomy of, okay, we're doing a whole bunch of kind of blockchain-y Catalonian revolution style things in this house, and then we're radically open and inclusive, but there's a challenge there. So we just had to check up with Arno. One of the main people who uses this office is Folkdoni, and they do anonymous voting on chain, but they're a public organization, and I'm sure that they'd be down for a little bit of outreach too, and maybe we could even make an agenda or something like that. We could this would be a great way for us to sponsor the event, is to have maybe like someone come down from Status or from somewhere that wants to like promote their wallet or do something. Not sure.
I like that. So what I heard from that, Griff, is we should probably drop in around what pieces of security culture do we need to be aware of and incorporate into what we're doing there?
Yeah, I think advice process with the other people that live there, specifically Arno and the other people that use the office, the Vocdoni crew, about what makes them feel comfortable and what doesn't. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I love the garage door.
Yeah. Like at the very least, I want to like hand out cookies or something. You know, talk to people, have some front porch vibes.
Yeah, some Ethereum
Right.
like triangle cookies would be so good.
Yeah.
Hey, Griff, could you elaborate a little bit on that potential tension in the sense that is this the Giveth house or is it like are they also like paying part of it, and is that could be the possible tension? I just didn't know
They're
anything
not
about that.
necessarily paying for part of it, but they are sort of like using it for those means. You know, it is like a meeting spot. It's not that they have any authority to say no, really. It's more that, you know, the advice process solves a lot of problems before any expectations come
And
up.
also
Respect.
that they are like, they're sort of our access point to understanding how the neighborhood feels, especially Arno. So like, generally, if we do things that feel safe to Arno, then like probably all of our neighbors are going to feel safe about it, which is in our interest and like not having problems with the neighborhood. But he's also a very, very careful person. So
Yeah, he's very careful. Cool. Any other topics anyone wants to discuss while we're all here?
does anybody have ideas of like how like creative ways to get everybody out of the city on a road trip? Because it's expensive to just rent cars. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's you rent a bus, and depending on how many people, bus with a bus driver, I'm not sure. But for sure, you know, like you remember this from school or whatever. It's maybe 20 per person or 30 per person usually, but it really depends on the numbers, the people.
And the
Also,
distance,
if there
we
is
can go by bike.
oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. If there is a, I don't know about railways, so let's look into those kind of things. Also, public transport or private bus is probably the cheapest for many people. And then, you know, it saves you this, especially the bus saves you the timing stuff, you know, because you can set times like when we go there, when we leave, and people have to adhere to the times, otherwise they get stuck, which might not be a bad thing, but yeah.
I was also thinking about last year we had like really such a great time in the castle in Cardona. So I don't know if we want to plan excursions. That could also be a destination. Also thinking about the fact that Griff wants to also do common stack stuff. Maybe we can do like meet up in the house and then like do at the end one day on common stack in the castle because there's more space there. Just bringing that up because I really, really love that place and the vibe that was there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and we could do 2 or 3 days of common stack for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too. Actually, like that you presence that possibility that the common stack could even like overshadow the Giveth gathering and like co-opt it. And I feel strongly that I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, so if it's just scheduling, this is the 5 days that's concentrated Giveth time. This is the however many days it's concentrated common stack time, and it's okay for people to overlap each other outside of that. But I do think that Giveth has been needing this team time. It's like way overdue for a long time, and and we've been putting it off more and more, partly because of the common stack stuff. So I don't want that to just be a repeat.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I think for me there's no difference between the common stack and Giveth. I mean, it might be a bit crazy if you jump like, oh, there's 10 new contributors that we just now met, or more, double actually that number. that we haven't met before, but now we all know, and it might be like crazy, but that's for me the whole thing since the beginning of Giveth was kind of like that. So I don't know where to draw the line. It's mostly branding. So for me, like Giveth is the same as the comic. And it was always like that, like with the Swarm City guys, it was always like, for me, there's no difference. It's just some people are more into it, the others are less into it. And with the Unicorn DS, you would have another like distinction there. So I would think it's like the other way around. It's a perfect opportunity to put everything together, and so everybody knows each other, and we can be unicorns together. But maybe I think it depends what we really want to do, and it seems like we should talk more about because if Lorelai and Dani have like ideas what to do on those, if it goes more into this deep diving. But as for me, I don't know how much time we should allocate to these things anyway. I'm more like the organic person. I rather like spend a day out with a group of people and have meaningful discussions. And I'm not like the workshop type, but I don't know what's planned. So that's just for me. And of course, if there is a workshop, I will come. Just saying.
I mean, I imagine there isn't anything really hard coded yet. So
No.
But I do agree with Lorelai that like if you want to, that it's I also think like the common stack, it's part of like what we're doing with Giveth. But if we're getting together with the core team of Giveth to like strengthen the bonds and also like see what we're doing specifically with all the things, it's a question of focus. So like defining in before we start some sort of agenda and saying like in these first days, this is what we're going to do with the Giveth core team. And then now we're going to like invite the people who are working on a common stack in, and that's going to be the agenda for that one. We're going to get more work done. Like, it's like, it's not that it can be fluent and it will be fluent. I have no doubt about it. But like planning a little bit in advance is going to make it not just pure chaos. And I like that personally.
Yeah, I like to have a plan, and I like to have no attachment to the plan. Well, the objective is what do we want to get out of the plan, and how we get there becomes less important.
The interesting thing for me is because also Chris mentioned Cardona, like was that a Giveth meeting? Because it was like 4 people from Stardust, and that's what I'm saying. Just like we seem to never have Giveth meetings, and I think that's probably the radical inclusion part. Because even in the last minute, we will always say, "Hey, and by the way, we're having a meeting over there. So if you're in town, just come over." And but also we did not have like many sessions that were planned in a way to like integrate us as a team. So yeah, do both.
Yeah,
Cardona,
it's yes and for sure.
Cardona right now has no floors. So that's definitely something to check in on. It's like, because they super gutted things and are in big project mode right now. So we'll have to check in and see if there's going to be something to stand on in June.
That's a good question to ask sooner than later.
Yeah, but dude, with those boys, it's also the kind of question that you like never really know until the weekend. The answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if they don't know we're thinking about it, then it's not in their mind at all.
Yes, this is true.
Cool.
Cool. Well, then let's keep this party going. Thank you guys. I guess we just do a quick checkout. Thank you guys. Good meeting. Good to see some new people in the group, and I'll see you guys next week or sooner. I'll pass it to Dani.
Oh yeah. This was a really good conversation. I'm excited to put together time for IRL. Go team go. And I think we have another meeting to jump into, so I'll just let that be. Thank you, and I'll pass it over to, is Guilherme still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Right.
So cool meeting, guys. Definitely a few things that I don't know a lot about the context of these subjects, but it was cool just being here, seeing like how you guys organize and work together. So I'll definitely check out the Debt Development meeting next Monday. So I'll be there. And thanks for having me as well. So I guess that's it.
And then you pick someone.
It can be Bowen.
Always good to hear from everybody. It's always this is my favorite meeting because everybody's always here. And I guess we'll see you on Riot. I'll pass it off to Chris.
Yeah. Thanks for the nice meeting as always. Practical thing is, I was just chatting. I sent a message just before this for this meeting to Michael, and he's gonna try to join as of next week, every week as of now. So that would be really cool. I'm happy that he'll be here. And another practical thing I was thinking of, like Griff, I guess you'll be the guy following up on when we get the Odyssey prize money. You probably still want to like send a message to the general chat to like recuperate all of those funds, so that at least we cover part of the cost of the boat. Just wanted to like remind you of that one. And I give it to Kai. I think you didn't go yet.
Nope. So thanks, guys. A great meeting. I'm very looking forward to, because we do meet all the time, but we don't meet everybody all the time. So I really appreciate. I hope Bowen can make it. I know you said kinda, but I still hope you can make it. And Dani, and thanks. And was that everybody? Jeff did not go yet. Give it to Jeff.
Yeah, good. Oh, am I muted? No. Good chats, and looking forward to seeing everybody in the next month or two. I'm not even sure when. April, so a couple of weeks. Very exciting to see everybody face to face again. It'll be fun.
Okay, and I didn't check out. You guys can always like think about looking to see if Lorelai's face is next to Griff's, because usually I won't have my own computer on just to save like battery and noise and shit. But I'm here. Really nice governance community meeting, and Danny mentioned meeting after this, and I think that you were referring to roles. And I put a message in the governance channel, but yeah, to like say again, I don't have anything planned for this. I've been trying to get this like scraper technology to work for me for this roles interface, and I wanted to take over this time for a show and tell for that, but unfortunately, like, I'm not a dev, and the people that were gonna help me are like still haven't, which is totally fine. But yeah, I don't feel like there's anything to show for that right now, unless there's someone who wants to like come do roles hangout, sort of, who wants to help me install Scrapey on my machine and figure out how to use it, and that would be valuable. But like otherwise, I don't know, we don't really need to have it. It would just be like more hangout time, and I know it's also dinner time for a lot of people. So
yeah. And Chris, I kind of just remembered that I have an Epicenter Bitcoin video call right now, so that should be coming up later soon. Okay, thank you guys.
All right.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys later. Bye.